Anyone who grew up in Windhoek in the 90s is likely familiar with the name of notorious gangster Kablo. Kablo, real name Sakeus Amateta, was born on 26 January 1986. He grew up with his parents Johanna Nekwiyu Amateta and Thomas Amateta in Windhoek's Freedomland. Kablo started his schooling at Moses van der Bijl Primary School and eventually Emmanuel Shifidi Senior Secondary School. However, at the age of 12, Kablo was already hanging with gang members in his neighborhood and getting away with petty theft and crimes. He would go on to drop out of school before completing grade 9. His mother Johanna, who is a hostel matron, claims she did everything in her power to get her son back on the right track, including seeking spiritual guidance and rehabilitation, but that all her efforts were in vain. In 2009, Kablo, who had at this stage grown in prominence in the gangster world, would for the first time be charged with a crime by the Namibian police. After the first case, he would go on to be arrested at least a dozen times over the next decade for mostly assault with intent to cause grievous bodily harm, armed robberies, and housebreaking. His long list of crimes earned him nicknames from his admirers and loyalists such as General and Blopan, or simply KB. By 2013, Kablo found himself a convicted man and behind bars after he was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for a case of housebreaking. However, he was out of prison and back on the streets not too long after, as he was released on remission. In the years that followed, Kablo was interrogated by the police numerous times for his alleged involvement in other crimes, but a lack of evidence and the reluctance of gangs to give away their kingpin, as well as the intimidation and threat of witnesses, usually meant that he was released without charges. In some cases, dockets would disappear, and in other cases, victims would withdraw the charges they had laid against him. Gang members claimed that between 2006 and 2018, Kablo largely escaped justice through a network of corrupt police officers and court officials. At the time, locations such as Goriaangap, Shantumbala, Okuriankava, and others were being run by gangs such as the FBI, Boko Haram, NWA, Colombians, Third Command, and educated mafias. The gangs launched criminal enterprises, making a quick buck through sophisticated robberies, theft of ATM cards and mobile phones, car break-ins, and cash grabs at strategic points during payday. Apart from being a mastermind behind many of the reported criminal activities, Kablo also got a share of the proceeds by acting as a middleman. His gang members would reportedly also act as whistleblowers on his instructions if rival gangs refused to share their loot. But as his reputation as a revered criminal in mostly Katutura and informal settlements grew, so did Kablo's audaciousness and fearlessness, especially towards the police. In one case, Kablo reportedly tried to cut a police officer with a panga, but surrendered when police officers fired warning shots. In another case, his audio was impounded by the police as evidence after a city police officer shot at the car when Kablo showed up at the cop's house threatening to attack him. However, the live by the gun, die by the gun mantra would prove true in his case, when on Sunday, 13 May 2018, Kablo was gunned down by the police. It is reported that earlier that day, Kablo and gang members robbed tourists at Knife Point in Klein Windhoek. After reporting the incident to the police and being shown albums of criminal profiles, the tourists identified some of the attackers, which included Kablo. At around 6:30 p.m., members of the Special Task Force were able to finally locate Kablo at Vanaeda in Kangwahi Street outside a barber shop adjoining the Namibia Angola bar. Kablo had reportedly just gotten a haircut and was waiting outside for his car. Once the police arrived at the scene, they informed Kablo that he is wanted at the police station, but instead, Kablo reportedly walked into the bar, got a beer bottle, and started walking in the opposite direction from the police without care. Following a further exchange of words between the police and Kablo, the convicted gangster took out an okapi, with the police responding by shooting Kablo 4 times in the back. He died on the spot with an okapi in his hand. He was only 32 years old. During his funeral at Ngoi village near Onyanya in the Oshikoto region on 19 May 2018, Kablo's mother Johanna accused police officers of regularly working in cahoots with her son to commit crimes. She also used the occasion to apologize for whatever damages and harm her son had caused others. However, his funeral was not without incidents, as the police were called to the scene after a group of his friends fired several shots into the air while spinning their cars at the cemetery as a final send-off for their leader and to announce the appointment of a new figure to replace Kablo. At the time of his death, Kablo had 9 pending cases of armed robbery, 2 cases of attempted murder, and 1 case of housebreaking. He was classified by the Namibian police as armed and dangerous.